Have you ever noticed the strange moment when someone really gets you, and instead of feeling warm or relieved, you feel exposed? Almost like they just opened a window you didn't know was there. One second, you're nodding along, thinking, wow, they understand me. And the next, there's a tightness in your chest. You look away, you joke, you change the subject. It's not that they said anything wrong. In fact, they said exactly the right thing. And somehow, that's the problem. Maybe it happens when a friend calmly names a pattern you've never admitted out loud, or when someone says, "You don't actually like being needed, do you?" And you laugh too quickly because it feels like they just read your private notes. You wanted to be understood, you just didn't want to be seen. And that uneasy feeling? It's not random. There's a psychology behind why being understood can feel like standing under a spotlight with nowhere to hide. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you might recognize yourself in ways that feel a little too accurate. Let's start with one type of person who feels exposed when understood: the emotional self-editor. Picture this. You're talking to someone new. You're being thoughtful, measured, a little reserved. You choose your words carefully, shaping your story as you go. You're not lying, you're just curating. Then the other person says, gently, "You're always careful not to need too much, aren't you?" And suddenly, the room feels quieter. People like this spend years learning how to package themselves. They learned early that being fully open could create problems, misunderstandings, expectations, emotional messes they didn't want to manage. So they became skilled editors of their inner world. They share, but selectively. They reveal, but on their own terms. When someone sees through that editing process, it can feel like a breach of control. Understanding, in this case, doesn't feel like connection. It feels like someone skipped past the version of you that you carefully prepared. And if control has been your emotional safety net, being accurately understood can feel like someone just pulled it away. Maybe that resonates. Maybe you like being known in pieces, not all at once. Then there's another profile, the quiet individualist. This person often prides themselves on being internally complex, but externally simple. They don't need a lot of validation. They're comfortable in their own head. They like the idea that parts of them are untranslatable, something only they can fully understand. Now imagine someone else comes along and translates them anyway. A coworker says, "You act independent, but you really value emotional autonomy more than anything." Or a friend observes, "You withdraw when people start leaning on you." It's accurate, uncomfortably so. For the quiet individualist, being understood can feel like a loss of uniqueness. Their inner world is something they've lived with privately, almost protectively. When someone else maps it correctly, it can feel invasive, not because the other person is wrong, but because they're right. Understanding threatens the boundary between me and you. And if your identity is built around inner independence, that boundary matters more than most people realize. Then there's the hyper-aware type. You know this one. They read the room instinctively. They notice micro shifts in tone, posture, energy. They're often the first to sense tension, the first to adjust, the first to smooth things over. Being emotionally perceptive has been their way of staying safe. But here's the twist. Hyper-aware people are usually far more comfortable understanding others than being understood themselves. So when someone turns that perceptiveness back on them, it can feel deeply unsettling, almost like role reversal. They're used to being the observer, not the observed. When someone says, "You always anticipate what people need before they ask," it doesn't feel like a compliment. It feels like someone just named the strategy you didn't realize you were using. And once it's named, it can't be unseen. For this type, being understood exposes not just feelings, but coping mechanisms. And that can bring up an uncomfortable question. If people see how you operate, will they still let you do it? Or will they expect something different from you? Now let's talk about a subtler one, the emotionally contained type. These are people who experience emotions deeply, but privately. They don't explode, they don't overshare, they process internally, often slowly. From the outside, they seem calm, grounded, maybe even a little distant. But when someone accurately names their inner emotional world, especially the intensity of it, it can feel like emotional nudity. Imagine someone saying, "You feel things more deeply than you let on." That sentence can land like a small earthquake because it collapses the distance between inner experience and outer presentation. For emotionally contained people, that distance is deliberate. It's how they stay regulated. It's how they keep from feeling overwhelmed or misunderstood. When someone bridges that gap without permission, it can feel too intimate, too fast. Understanding, in this case, accelerates closeness. And not everyone wants closeness at the speed of accuracy. Then there's one more type, and this one surprises people. Those who equate being understood with obligation. These are often people who've learned, consciously or not, that once others understand them, expectations follow. If someone knows what you need, they might expect you to ask. If someone understands your values, they might expect consistency. If someone sees your depth, they might expect availability. So when someone understands them deeply, the reaction isn't relief, it's anxiety. Because understanding feels like a contract, like a silent agreement they didn't sign. You might recognize this if you've ever thought, if they really know me, they'll want more from me. More time, more explanation, more emotional labor. In that context, staying slightly misunderstood isn't a flaw, it's a form of freedom. Now, here's the twist that ties all of this together. Feeling exposed after being understood doesn't mean you're broken, avoidant, or emotionally unavailable. It often means you've learned through experience that visibility has consequences. For some people, being seen once led to pressure. For others, it led to misinterpretation. For others, it led to loss of control. So the nervous system learns something important. Understanding equals risk. And when someone understands you too well, too quickly, your body reacts before your mind can catch up. The discomfort isn't about them, it's about history. This is why you might pull back after a moment of deep connection, why you might joke right after someone says something profound about you, why you might feel the urge to change the subject, physically shift away, or suddenly feel tired. Your system is saying, this is close. Is it safe? The interesting thing is that many people who feel exposed after being understood also crave deep connection. They just want it on terms that feel chosen, not sudden or unguarded. So if this feels familiar, maybe the question isn't, why am I like this? But what kind of understanding actually feels safe to me? Do you prefer gradual understanding over instant insight? Do you feel more comfortable being known through actions rather than words? Do you need time to adjust to being seen? Those answers matter. And if you're on the other side, if you're someone who's good at understanding others, it's worth remembering this too. Accuracy can be intimate. Sometimes, naming someone's inner world is like stepping closer than they expected. Not everyone experiences that as comfort. So let me ask you this, and sit with it for a moment. Which of these patterns sounds most like you? Or maybe it's a mix. Maybe you like being understood, but only when you're ready. Maybe you crave connection, but still guard the door. If this landed somewhere personal, you're not alone. And if you want to keep exploring the quiet, less obvious psychology behind everyday behavior, you know where to find more of this. For now, just notice the next time someone really understands you. What do you feel first? Warmth, tension, or the urge to disappear? That reaction has a story, and it's worth listening to.